my friend.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Hey,
How
how
are
you
you?
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yes.
Wake up every morning saying those words. I'm great. Actually, I say thank you, thank you, thank you 3 times.
Oh, that's good. That's good. We
Yeah.
got to be grateful for the Lord, our Father, waking us up this morning.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do this in the kitchen, but the cats kept getting on the table. It's like, you know what? Let me move it somewhere else. Get
How
away.
many cats do you have?
My roommate has 3.
Oh, they're all their cats, his cats or her
Her
cats.
cat.
Wow.
I'm
Cool.
like, they're nice. They're good, but they're sometimes just too friendly. It's like, leave me alone.
When you get the water bottle, they know, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna use the water bottle anymore. It's like, you know what? Just let them be cats.
Oh, are they older cats or younger cats?
I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years old, something like that.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, hey Dave. Said Dave. Nay. Your peeps.
Hey. Hey, Nayaba.
Well, anyway, this thing. All right, this is my
Do you
first time
want to
doing
pin?
this.
Do you want to pin the title so they know what it's about?
Oh yeah.
Put the title in and then hit send and then touch it and then pin it. Hello. Oh, somebody's in somewhere else because they said good evening, so they
Okay,
must
let me
be up
see.
on
So I
Singapore.
I do it
So,
this way.
so you put in the yep, and then you touch. There you go. There you
That's it.
go. Yep. If you've pinned it, that's it. Pin it because it's moving. So tap it again and then hit pin as the option.
Ah,
And then it'll stay at the bottom. Perfect. It's pen now. All
all
right.
right. Great. I'm learning something every day.
That's what it's all about.
Well, anyway, whereas our continuation from 2 weeks ago, it was on your platform. Now it's in my platform, which is great. Unfortunately, hopefully it stays this time because I had so many people telling me, I want to see it, I want to see it, I want to see it. But
It'll stay. You have the option to turn it into a IGTV at the end, and then you can post it. So it'll work.
but it stays longer than 24 hours.
Right. It's a regular IGT. It stays on your page. It stays. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't find ours.
Because mine wasn't that option back then. That's why.
Oh, it's a new option.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, well, great. Well, then, I guess a recap. We talked about our, you know, you and I having the same experience as far as how long we've been divorced and what we've been through and whatnot. And, it was very good conversation and people were very interested and my friends were interested in it. And today I figure, you know what? There was a couple of things we did leave off, like about the children. We only touched a little bit about it, but as I was going through, I'm thinking, you know what? We didn't actually, we touched a little bit about, what we did, but I don't think we touched much about how we did as far as, we got our conscious mind, but as you and I know that our subconscious mind is much stronger than our conscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get there, I mean, literally for me, it took me, it wasn't overnight. It took several years. And
Right.
just recently for me, I unlocked what was holding me back to continue even forward. I'm doing all this good stuff, but here's what I talked about. And I talked about how here's my blockage. How how failure is the teaching to be successful. You got to learn from your failures. I took success that would equal failure.
Hmm.
Here's
Okay.
here's why. I was making 6 figures a year after taxes, being in the military or whatnot. So when all this happened, I implanted this strong seed in my mind that why would I go ahead and make all that money so it can be taken away from me again?
Mm.
And and I was like, and I had a friend who told me something, and she triggered some words. We talked about triggers last time, where you can get triggered on words, a song, a sight that it brings you back, right? And I didn't realize, I kind of hit on this before, like on myself. It's like, but I didn't write it down, which is the key. People, you need to write stuff down because it's going to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why my friend, and she's just a friend. There's nothing sexual or anything. I'm not interested in her. She's like a little she's like a daughter, a young lady, like a daughter. who's doing very good things for herself. And everything she was telling me was positive, corrective criticism. Hey, do this, do that. And boom, it triggered. That's when I realized, okay, this is not normal. What is inside of me that is holding me back? What is it? And I connected that. I connected how my father used to say, oh, if they were a minority and lived in a good house, oh, they must sell drugs.
Mm.
There's so a lot of the things that we have been implanted in our minds as a child that we don't know. That's how come that's how come you have to go back. And we're only here because of what, and I believe this, subconsciously we've been taught a long time ago. And it's just been growing and growing and growing. And that's what we have to reprogram.
Yes.
We can be successful. A lot of us are successful already. But could you imagine the potential we would have if we reprogram what that little thing? And it can be relationships on any type of relationship level, relatives, spouse, parents. It can be in your finance. It can be spirituality, your health, your fitness. Oh, I'm fat because you were always called fat as a child. So you're fat. You accept that. Your living style. It all starts from somewhere, but you picked it. All the things you excelled, well, find that one thing that may be holding you back. What do you think?
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. It starts from where we always say the term, you're a product of your environment to an extent, but you don't have to become your environment for your choices that you make in later life. I grew up as being raised by a single mom as well. So I'm a single parent now after divorce. My mom married my dad, of course, and then got divorced. My dad has 5 children by 5 different women, and the only person he married was my mom, and they got divorced when I was 3 years old. And I learned a lot of things growing up. I lived with my grandmother for a while. She lived in the projects. So I know about living in the projects. I know about being raised by a single mom who then later remarried, and that's a whole nother story. And I saw a lot of things on not how just they were, but how they should be. And I lived in the world of not how it is, but how it should be. So if I didn't like something, it wasn't just, pointing out the facts as they were, but kind of looking at it differently on how I thought it should be and how I wanted it to be. And that was just my mindset as I grew up in certain environments, because it was an environment living with my mom. It was an environment living with my grandmother for a period of time in the projects. And I saw a lot of different things. And I saw a lot of things that I did not like and that I did not want to be as a product of my environment. I was like the only person in my family up until recently to go to college. And it was like acceptable that you didn't go to college because none of them went to college, and they didn't push me to go to college either. I went to a college preparatory school that at the time I did not want to go to for 6 years. I took Latin for 6 years to come out and graduate and to hear, well, you don't have to go to college if you don't want to. And I'm like, what? You had me go to college? I mean, college preparatory school, it's a reason for it to be a preparatory school for college, to then say, well, if you don't want to go, you don't have to. I was like, hell no. I'm going to college. I didn't work to get this far to not go because that's acceptable for you. That wasn't acceptable for me. So success looks like pushing myself because I knew that I could do it, because that was my mindset, versus seeing around me, which was good enough for others, but it wasn't good enough for me because I knew I could do more. It was in my heart. It was in who I was because of my product of environment, not because of making excuses for my environment, if that makes sense. So that spilled into later on in life. And so I agree. We learn it growing up, but we can change. We can decide whether or not we want to live with the excuses of the environment we grew in, if it allowed us to stay stuck.
Right. Yes. And yeah, it's like you said, it's all a mindset. And thank you bringing that up, because I put this down on one of my Facebook posts, and I know you've seen it. I also put it on Instagram. And I have to say, because I think this is perfect for this, because it's all about here. Romans 12:2, for those that know it, do not conform to the pattern of this world,
Yep.
but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will for you, for us.
Yes. Thank
So
you for
this is
that.
perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow. Now, what I did for myself when I realized what this was, and it's important because as you know, and I think you have more experience in this than I do, as far as you recognize success much, or the steps of being successful. You grasped it, I think, before I did. This is my observation of you. I was doing it on certain things in the military when I was in, but I didn't take it that way. I thought it was just an assignment, but I was doing it. But everybody I know usually has minimum of 3 on up of notebooks, agendas, and affirmation book, a gratitude book, and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, what? And I kept looking. It's like, what are they doing? It's like, and I realized, like, okay, every person I've read about, and Think and Grow Rich, and The Magic. Yep. When, as a matter of fact, yep. This book right here, this book, The Magic,
mm-hmm.
and this one's a Spanish book right here. When it hit me about what it is, believe it or not, because this is for those of you that don't know, this is about a 30-day workbook. There's days you do every day. There's an assignment, and this one is I'm taking a master class every Monday. Those 2 chapters actually hit what I was thinking by when I realized all of this. So those that think of the law of attraction, and I believe in it, but I also not asking you shall receive. It's all connected. It's all connected. You can look at religion, spiritual, and even scientifically. You are what you think. That
Yep.
all of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I look at it as all the same. Well, God created everything, so isn't it all energy? It's one of the same.
Yes.
So I'm looking at it like, all right. So that's what I did. Now, granted, I was talking to somebody this morning, a real good friend of mine, and she brought something up. The pandemic right now.
Mm-hmm.
People that have gone through the divorce or going through all this, they now facing this too, and it's going to be very challenging, especially for those who are single parents, those with young kids, and now the mom's going to be by themselves. What if they lose their home? Because I lost everything on mine. And we always talk about, well, you need to be positive. No, you need to be positive. It's like, it's a challenge, and I use the word challenge because I don't use words like difficult. I switch it to challenge. Another word that stress, I change it to tired. Because I think that helps us, and to progress. And one thing that helped me, and people watching, you can try this, is that I wrote down every positive thing, action, whatever that my ex-wife did for me and my children. And I was doing constantly every day, because what that did, how some people say, oh, I forgave him, but I can't forget. Yeah, but you know what? You can let go.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a difference between forgetting and let go. So, because when you say, oh, but I can't forget, guess what? Your mind is stuck there. Your mind is stuck there. But if you let it go, and how do you let it go? By writing all those good things about them. Think about the good things. This cheesy it may sound, but don't be mad because it's over. Be happy because you experienced it.
Yes.
And look at it that way. And I'm telling you, it has helped me so much doing that. And yes, and if it helped me with that, talking about her and all the positive and beautiful stuff that happened, it helped me also. Like, okay, I'm moving forward. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go.
Yes.
Now imagine using that too with Yes, release. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, and she's
I don't
saying,
have
wow,
glasses, so
so
I
true.
gotta go zoom in. So I'm sorry if I can't see these. So
No,
just
she also said, wow, so true. That helps with any relationship that ends. That's right. I mean, I agree. You got to release, it's like, in the Bible, God wants you to surrender, right? Surrender, doesn't want you to worry about anything. And like you said, it's easier said than done, but you, one, have to recognize what you're doing and what you're doing specifically to yourself when you're holding on to those things, because you're constantly hurting yourself, and your goal is to love yourself, right? When you're coming out of any relationship, to use Nayaba's word, any relationship, friendship that breaks up, that's like platonic, two females, just friends, male female friends, boyfriend girlfriend relationship, um there's a lot of stuff that was in that relationship that you feel like you've lost, and sometimes can feel like failure because you
Mhm.
don't have it anymore. Having this equals success, not having this equals failure. But it's not. It's failure when you don't learn from the experience, right?
Yes.
Failure is a fail if you're not learning from every experience you have. And I try to look at things more positively ever since Market America, because I always consider myself a negative person, even though no one ever saw that. But in my head, I was like, I know what I mean by that. And I don't think it feels good. But I learned to be more positive, and that you need that when you're becoming an entrepreneur. And so I look at every single relationship that I've had as being grateful for it, because I always learned something from it, because I took time to reflect and said, what did I get out of that relationship? How did I grow? Because you should be growing in every relationship you have. Otherwise, why are you in it? Right? And,
Hmm.
good relationships, bad relationships, don't even think of good and bad. Just think about it as an experience, and that you're
Right.
learning throughout that experience, and you're taking something away from it. So, but the things that are making you feel a certain way, that it's not doing anything for your good, it's surrendering and letting go. But you got to recognize when you're there. A lot of us don't recognize when we're in those bad negative chatter
Yeah.
moments, and you just feed off of it because it feels good in the moment, because you feel power in it. But it's draining. What good is it doing for you?
It doesn't do anything because it's a snowball effect. Like they say, negativity is so easy to feed because it comes downhill. But positivity is an effort. It takes a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, you're right.
So yeah, and then not only just the relationship with what you and I experienced, what we left, but other relationships are important
Right.
too. And sometimes they if you'll let those other relationships affect you even more, because I've noticed that when I was going through all of this, I was looking for people that would agree to what I was saying. People who didn't
That's in the
agree with me
Bible
is
too.
like, oh, you don't understand, you don't really know. But the people that I really did admire was the ones that kept it neutral.
Mm.
They weren't going with me, or they weren't going with her. They're like, let's talk about this. Let's do,
Mhm.
why is it? How is she feeling? They were looking at
Right.
both sides. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this is different. I wasn't pushing it away. I wasn't able to. It's like, okay, so I think this is something we have to do in our everyday lives. Just, don't say why. Say, well, how is this happening? You got to ask
Mhm.
yourself, okay, how am I going to make it
Yeah.
better? How am I going to learn from this? How am I going to
Right.
get
So
free from
Nayaba,
this and that?
so Nayaba is asking a question. She said, "Very true. Failure is when you don't learn from it." As yourself, how did you grow? What did you learn about yourself? And that she may just be reflecting on what we said. I'm not sure if there was a specific question in there, but I would just um, I learned specifically how to love me more, because like they always say, you can't love somebody else if you don't know how to love yourself first. There's one book that I read, and I'm forgetting the exact name of it, but it has to do with compulsions.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get it. Hold on one second, because it's right here.
All right.
Yeah, here we go. It's called the Gift of Our Compulsions. And
Mm-hmm.
I noticed one thing. It's The Gift of Our Compulsions: A Revolutionary Approach to Self-Acceptance and Healing by Mary O'Malley. And one thing that when I slowed down to pay attention really to my body and what was going on when I separated from my husband, I realized that I was getting this tightness in my stomach, and it would just come and go. And it was so bad that the only way it would release and I would relax is if I would lay down and crawl up in a ball, like in a fetal position, and
Mm-hmm.
just stay there. And eventually it would go away. And after a while, I was like, why am I experiencing this? And part of me thought, I'm by myself now. I got 2 kids. Yes, we're sharing custody. It's not as bad as other relationships, but I'm on my own again. I've always been independent, but it was almost like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I did this. I can't, but there was something going on. My body was telling me, recognize, here I am,
Mm-hmm.
recognize me, and I'm going to show it to you this way. And I need
Right.
you to do something with it. So then I started kind of researching, what it was that I was experiencing, what I could do about it. I started getting into breathing and meditating. I eventually started my health coaching certification. And a big piece that I practiced with someone else was, when I get all riled up and my stress level is high, to kind of created a rage book, and it evolved over time. Like when I wanted to really, really project and
Right.
my voice without yelling, but really get it out. That was my way of how I was dealing with stress, and I didn't like it. So I wrote everything down, like you said. And over time, I just, when I felt that tightness, it was me. It was like I would thank that experience, because it was, wait, hey, I'm here. Okay, I need you to calm down. So it was a signal for me. So it was like my compulsion, which is what I was experiencing. I took it as a gift, and it was, what do I need to do with it? And then I figured out ways to address it. I don't have that pain anymore. So that was like part
All
of my
right.
healing, and realizing what was going on. Like, oh my God, I'm really freaked out about being on my own, and I'm not showing it to anybody, but my insides are going, wait a second. You're not dealing with something you need to be dealing with. So
I
that was
like
one of a part of starting my healing, to be able to be successful and know that I can do anything I want now. Now that
right.
I'm
And I like how you said when the meditation and whatnot, and and because of the health and fitness for me, I'm a stressful eater. When I
mm,
get stressed, I'm like, but like I said, now it's like, oh, I'm tired. I switch it. But back then, I'm a stress free. But when I catch myself, and this is how I started working out, I started eating healthier. I eat healthy 5 times out of the week, and on the weekends, I want to go home and eat with my parents eat. I don't want to go there. It's like, I don't eat vegetables. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to enjoy with the family what they're eating.
right.
So now I know that because I'm eating so much healthier now, that when I start feeling this, like, it's like, oh my gosh, like, and I take it, like a candy bar, my body starts telling me, it's like, oh, this is not doing fine for me. It's like, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's my key to leave this alone, So part
Step
of,
away from the candy bar.
yeah. So this process of us becoming better,
Cabinet.
it's a process. It's a process that takes you on whatever level it is you're doing. You gotta figure it out.
No, that cabinet. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you just go back, think it through. Who are you? What's happening? What did you learn when you were a child? And just work it, because every successful person, just like, I have to emulate them. So I'm emulating them. They exercise, they meditate, they write things on books, they read, all
Yes.
this stuff. Read, and just, oh, and I have to, and yes, it's hard. It's a challenge right now for people are getting furloughed. I've just got a call saying, hey, I got furloughed. Can you help me out? Do you know anybody? Somebody's like, whoa. But a lot of people look at it as like, oh, I have no money coming in. I just got my check, and I realized there's a mistake. I only got paid 1/3 of what I'm supposed to get paid. It's like, there's a mistake here. But instead of me freaking out, I'm like, but I still have this, I have that. You know, I looked at all the good stuff, all the things I'm grateful for. Some people may look at it as like, well, you can't live life like that. I'm like, yes, you can. Because see, and people are saying, oh, I don't have money, this and that. It's like, okay, you're going out, people are in a budget, and some of us are, a lot of us have been through this where we have a budget. Mm-hmm. But if you really sit down and look at everything you're spending, what can you let go? How many subscriptions do you have? That do you really need all these subscriptions? Mm-hmm. Do you really need money. Cable?
Find, you know, that money. There's money. Mm-hmm.
Except everything. Now, and I was always thinking about, I was like, do I want to save, you know, $20, $100 a week, or should I invest those $20 and $100 a week? Because if I switch to investing it, I'm bettering myself.
Right.
I mean, I don't even watch TV anymore. I really don't.
I don't watch it. I just watch the news. I
don't even watch the news, but my friends let me know what's going on. It's like,
true,
okay,
you're not missing much. You're just gonna get mad. So
exactly. So I'm like,
I don't watch the news as much either. But yeah, I'm with you. But I mean, successful people, probably the ones who are trying to get somewhere versus the people who are already there. There's all different camps and different levels of how much TV you're consuming. But folks who are really trying to get somewhere, honestly, they're not sitting on the couch and watching Real Housewives or this Netflix this and Netflix that and stuff that's going to suck you in. You know, they're like, okay, their day is full with stuff. They've got a plan. There's not enough hours in the day. The stuff that they want to achieve. I mean, a little bit of downtime is fine. I'm not saying that we never watch TV. A little bit of downtime is fine, where you can just, you know, decompress, let it go. But that should be a very small percentage of someone's time that's trying to get somewhere. Because unless you're watching a TED Talk or some kind of inspirational development type of show where you're really learning, whether it's health related or something, that's just, quite frankly, I just feel it's crap. I mean, it's entertainment, but I don't want to be entertained. I want to be enlightened. There's a difference. And I think because when you've experienced stuff and you like that feeling, you don't have a desire to go back to the way things were with being entertained. I don't pull up stuff to be entertained. I want to get something out of it. And I don't want it to be a waste of my time because it's later than we think. You know, time is just going whether or not we're standing still. I have goals. I have things that I want to do. And honestly, I don't have anybody to blame but myself. If I don't make them happen, what was I doing all that time? Oh, I was sitting on my butt. I was watching this TV. I was getting caught up. Or I was flipping through Instagram or Facebook. I didn't do anything. And I have those days, trust me. But guess what? I don't feel good about them. And I don't like that feeling. So I try to avoid it as much as possible. What are my goals? What did I do today to get closer to my goal? And how
Which is why it's so important to write them the night before.
Yep.
Got to write all your goals every day. Plan it out.
Yeah.
And I have people telling me, oh, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time. I was like, wait, you don't have time to exercise, but you're outside with your children. You know what? Do push-ups. Do jumping jacks.
Run around with them. Play.
You know, that's exercise.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have time to read, but you're watching TV. You know, you and I can go back and forth with people when they come up with an excuse. They're like, are you serious? When you're in your car and driving to work, put an audio book on there. You know, it's like you have the time. Look for it. And I always tell them this is like, if something drastic was going to happen to your mom or dad and you had to take care of them, I guarantee you'll find that time.
You will.
You will find that time.
Because it's important to you. We do what we find is most important at that time. If the TV show is most important to you, then that's where you're going to gravitate to us. If it's working on some project because you know what having that project completed will do for you, then you're going to focus on that. We focus our attention on what's most important to us at that time. So it's just where your priorities. if that's a priority for you, then that's your priority. Mine just happens to be here. And we're different. That's okay. But this
Yeah,
is
it's
what I'm
okay.
about. That's where I'm going. Yeah.
Important priorities, they kind of go hand in hand, but yet I find them a little different, you know.
Well, priority, yes, I agree. Is what's important to you, and priorities, how you prioritize what's most important, right? You can, what did we learn? I'm trying to remember what's her name from Lauren had said to us one year at conference is you you schedule your priorities versus prioritize your schedule or something like that. She kind of reversed it, and it was more about prioritize your schedule or something like that. I forget which order was most important, but say what you were going to say about the two: importance versus priority.
No, I guess you kind of hit there, yeah, because see, people say, oh, this is important to me. Okay, but why is it important to you versus the priority? What? Because one can be important, one is a priority.
Right.
But if the priority is going to push you up here to a higher level, then why you should, okay, it's important for me to brush my teeth every day. Really? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's probably a lame example, but there are certain things that must be done. But if you're going to sit down, relax, okay. Now, if you're relaxing to watch TV, it's like, it's important to me because this is my daily routine. I only do it for 30 minutes. That makes sense. But as you know, I've experienced too, where I watch one. That's like I might tell people, oh, this is a good show. Does it have an ending? I have to ask, does it have an ending? Because I don't want to get stuck there watching it for season after season after season. It's like, give me an ending. Does it have an ending?
You mean those series of shows? So
yes.
You're not sure when it's going to end because they want you to watch the next one. So you get stuck in the next one. And they make them good. So you keep watching them.
I'm better off watching a movie.
I'm the same way because it has an end. I'm only sucked in for like 2+ hours. And then it's done. I'm with you. Like I can, because I know me. I can get into a series and binge watch and be marathon just on the couch for hours, just hooked. And then I'm like, I can't sustain that because then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, no matter how enjoyable it was at the time. So I'm with you. I'd rather have the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I know our time is almost up. But
yes.
Like just to recap, I think what a lot of us can agree, you and I can agree, is reprogram your mind. To reprogram your subconscious mind, there are a lot of steps you got to do. One, a reflection of yourself. What is it? Going back as a child, what are the triggers? Identifying those triggers, and write them down. Okay, I know what it is. What's the next step? You know what? You got to work on your body, physical and mind. Got to work on it because it's going to help you, identify things that pop up. Because now you and I are so good right now where when all of a sudden we start feeling this like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like, you know what? Thank you. I'm here. I'm alive. I find all kinds of things that are positive to erase that. You got to write things down. Write them down. Look at all the good things that person's done to you, or look at your father, your mother, whatever it is, finance. I don't know. It doesn't matter what area it is you need to work on. Reflect back and see what is holding you back, or why do you still feel that way? And just write all the good things about it. Right? But don't just do it for a day or 2 days. This is something that's continuous. You got to do it for 30 days, 60 days. Just do it. And then after a while, you start thinking other things. Thank the grocer for giving, packing your stuff, or, got to be grateful for everything.
Yeah.
And it's going to help, because if you're only grateful for one thing, then you're going to start focusing the negative on the other stuff.
Absolutely.
You got to focus on everything. And just like we started at the beginning, got to be grateful and be happy and just be blessed on everything there. But reprogram. That's the one thing that helped me reprogram my mind is to, hey, Lisa, is to write things down.
Yeah.
And write them down.
And writing is so important.
Oh, you know what, my friend, I put 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it's 12 o'clock her place.
Oh,
Wait a
well,
minute, it's 1:30. Wait.
it's
Well,
1:30 our time. Yeah.
We started at 1.
Yeah,
I
we
looked
started
at
at
this
1.
wrong. I thought it was over. I thought it was gonna be 2 o'clock.
No, we started at 1. Yeah, 1. We got no more than 10 minutes. We said 45 minutes most. But one thing that I was going to add to it is, yes, I think that journaling is very important. I was on somebody's live the other day. She's a woman who wrote a book. She used to be a health coach, and she and I are doing a live next week. But one thing that she said that kind of stuck with me, one is everybody has a story. And what really got her to write her book after she got the negative chatter out of her head that she couldn't write a book because she was too young, she had been journaling for years. And so her story was already there. And it was just a matter of compiling it and getting help. So I'm looking forward to talking to her next week. I'm reading her book now, and it's an amazing book. It's called Unbecoming, and it's a memoir. But just when you're writing stuff down, that's another way that you're learning, that you're growing, because you journal for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you finish that book, and then you go to another one, go back to the first one and read it and see where your mindset is and your actions are and how you've changed over time. You can't see
Yes.
that unless you've written it down.
Look at this.
And you see you got his story.
Look at this.
Exactly. I mean, I've been journaling since when I was married, and I was going through stuff when my cat died and what I was experiencing and how my husband responded to it, and he wasn't very responsive, and I was angry, and I went and I wrote it down, how I was feeling at that time. And if I didn't write that down, I wouldn't be able to recall the details of the emotions I was going through at that point in time, because every time you forget, and there's certain memories you don't want to forget, and know that it's a gift, to use that word loosely. It's a gift, because having memories that you otherwise wouldn't record it through a picture or writing it down, they're gone, because there's only so much information we can retain. You may have an experience that triggers that memory, but it's not the detail that it would be from either an image, depending, or writing it down. And then more importantly, after writing it down, what do you do with it? Do you just put it away and just go, okay, memory, okay, I'm putting it away so I don't remember it again? No, how do you recall it? And what do you do with it? Because your story can help somebody else. So,
Yes.
and I don't know what your situation is, Fabian, but I know one of my next steps, I've got some stuff I'm working on right now, but I've always said, I'm going to be an author. I'm going to write a book. And so right now it's like, I have a story to tell. You have a story to tell. Nayaba and Lisa and Aria, we all have stories to tell that could help somebody, because we've been on our own journey. And I'll just stop right there.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about writing it down, it's said that writing something down versus typing versus recording increases the memory.
Yes.
It is a significant difference.
It is.
Of writing it down.
It is a huge difference.
Wow. I'm like,
which
wow,
we need. Yes.
So yeah. So
no, I
I'm
was
like,
gonna
yeah.
say we need in this day and age, because we're used to typing everything. It's very rare that we write now. I mean, even having our kids write, other than in school, I mean, a lot of schools don't even teach you how to type. Well, everything's like iPads nowadays, but they don't even teach you. My kid didn't even learn how to do cursive, which I find amazing, and he's in 6th grade. But I'm getting off topic. But yes, writing it down increases your memory. Yes, I've heard that. For another tip, he's full of tips, Fabian. So if you did not know that, yes, writing it down.
Yes, it does. Writing it down.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. Yeah, writing it down. What else? You know what? I think later on, I'm gonna write. Somebody sent me a post about what the 12 things successful people do.
Yeah.
I should have written it down, but like I said, whatever it is, relationship, financial, religion, spiritual, health, fitness, all these things are there. You know, go back, reflect, look at your subconscious, you know what's a good thing? If your parents are still living, ask your parents how you acted when you were a child.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because you'll be surprised. Like, you have to ask the questions, but I'll tell you what. Don't think too much. Believe and have faith. If, like I said in the beginning, biblical, spiritual, or science, it's all connected. Because
Yeah.
if God created the universe, guess what? It's all connected. You are what you think, right?
Yes.
But if you ask the question, just ask the question out there. God, I need to find out this. Just leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Or the universe, however, just leave it alone. And I guarantee you, it's going to come to you. It's going to come to you, because what I've been experienced this past 2 months, the law of attraction, now I'm going spiritual here, has been happening all. It's like I'm literally, everything's going right for me right now.
That's awesome. Yeah,
it's like, wow.
I've been seeing your stuff. You got a great team you're working with, so it's awesome.
So it's building, and I'm like, wow, do I have a lot of, and there's so much I got to learn. Yeah. And I'm still picking up, but everything I've been asking for. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? Oh, relax. And so on. Boom. You can call me, say, somebody can call me and talk about exactly that topic.
Isn't that funny? It's so funny.
It's in the Bible, as you shall receive.
Yeah.
And that quote that I read, come on.
Right. Well, you said something important that I want to piggyback off is about your thoughts, or something like you said. So the question is, what are you thinking? Because like you said earlier, if you think you're fat, then you're fat. You whatever you tell yourself is what it is. So to your point, it's got to be positive things what you are thinking, right? Because we also are taught that we are not our thoughts, particularly if the thoughts are not positive about us.
Which is why I write my affirmations on a daily basis. I write 10 of them to 15. I write them. And some of them that you really want to be. Like, I have some on my wall. I am the master of my own thoughts.
Yes.
I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, happy, loving, and harmonious with the Lord, with the universe.
Yes.
I write stuff down like I'm an attractive and handsome man, because it makes me feel good.
You are.
Mm-hmm. I attract people who speak 2 languages. If in business, in other words, you got to break down those affirmations on your life of who you are, on business. I'm a money magnet.
Yep.
I'm a money magnet.
Right.
I attract money. It comes to me free, easily and frequently.
Mm-hmm.
But the important thing is that you can write all these affirmations down. And some of these affirmations, you got to talk about it, what you want, as if it's the present.
Yeah.
Because now, this is why I say the subconscious mind is powerful than the conscious mind. A lot of us want to see to believe. So that's when we went back. You got to, give thanks and be grateful. Even my bills, thank you for the money. And as soon as I paid for it, paid in full. I write all these little things, because if subconsciously you're thinking, wow, Fabian, why are you talking like that? Well, that's not going to, well, that's your problem. Mm-hmm. That's where it goes back to, you are what you think. So if you're thinking that that's not going to happen,
then it's not.
Then why? Then all the knowledge, knowledge that you do, is not going anywhere. So execution is more powerful than knowledge at times. Because if you don't execute, you can learn from execution.
Knowledge is power only if you do something with it. Right?
Exactly.
We all know what to do most of the time, but we don't do anything with it half the time, right? I mean, that's part of, when you're evolving and you're changing your habits, you're changing your behaviors, right? The behaviors you've learned over time, you got to unlearn them, like you talked about reprogramming, and you have to go in a different direction. So what are you telling yourself? How are you putting it into action, what you're telling yourself or what you're learning? Because it's great if you're listening to something, you're watching something, you're reading something. That's great. You got the knowledge. But then if you don't do anything with it, what was the point? And that's the thing. We get a lot of information. And I believe in massive action, not just action, massive action. So if someone gives me something, I'm choosing, do I want to do something with it or not? And if I'm going to do something with it, I do it right away, because my fear is I'm not going to do it. If I wait, It's not gonna happen because I forget
Exactly.
or I get unmotivated, I get lazy. Take massive action right away with what you learn. And you keep practicing it over and over again until it becomes a new habit.
And it takes time for others. Some take it quicker, some take a little bit long, but be consistent, be disciplined, and it will come to, and belief and faith.
Right.
Also right there.
And I will also put in a plug. It's easier said than done. So when you've tried it in the past and you've heard all of this, this is your knowledge. I already know, but yet you're not getting the results that you want. It's because you're doing it on your own. Sometimes that's not enough. So reading, watching, listening, affirmations, that can be good up to a certain point. And when that is no longer working for you, seek help, to seek support.
A bird of a feather flock together.
Seek accountability so that you can be where you want to be and not feel like I got to do it on my own. No, you don't. So that's the other piece. All this is great and okay, we're doing it. None of us are doing this on our own. We're getting help. It's easy.
You and I talk to each other and we feed our minds.
Right. We've gone through a lot of things that have helped us, but there were other people there to help us. Yes. It wasn't just us doing it. So that's another tip for how to succeed in life is do it with and through others. Do it like Nayaba and I, we did a live last week together. And we were talking about there's a person in front of you in line and there's a person in back of you in line. Yes. And you are trying to learn from the person in front of you because they're where you want to be. And then the person in behind you should be trying to learn from you because you're where they want to be. So we got to seek people who are smarter than us.
Yes.
To also help us get to where we want to be. So
you kind of, it's like the post I did, yesterday or the day before. It's like, who are you? Are you the spectator? Are you the player? Or are you the coach?
Are you the coach? I love that post. That was awesome.
So, in whatever aspects, because we're all three. On physical fitness, you're the coach now. But guess what? Even coaches are the players because they want to be at a higher level from a coach that's even better than them.
Yes, and you got to stay in the game. Coaches can't get out of the game. You gotta stay in the game. And that's like anyone who's watching is the spectator. They're just watching.
Right.
When you consciously choose to get in the game, you're choosing to play big.
Oh,
so
yes.
My feeling is you can be the spectator because you're interested enough to watch.
Exactly.
But then when do you stop watching?
Right. And that's where it goes back to what you said. Ask for help. Hey, you want to help? You want to join this with me? Or, hey, can I tap the shoulder of the other players? Like, I'm it. Then you start getting in there. So you got to find people that are going to lift you up. And you're going to find friends out there that are very good in the Bible, very good in finance, very good in marriage, very good. Those are the ones you want to keep around.
Yes, your circle of influence. Yep. Those are the ones. Where you're trying to be. This has been awesome, Fabian. I know. You can talk. We can talk all the time. That's nothing.
I know we can talk forever. Yeah. So anyway, who knows? Let's do this another 2 weeks, maybe on a different topic.
Yes.
We'll think about it. So everybody, thank you for joining. This is going to be saved. So you can go ahead and click on it again because I know last time people wanted to go into it, but they couldn't. They call me later. It's like, I wanted to listen to it. I didn't have time. It's like, but it's right here. But thank you all for joining us, for listening. And I'll work to save it and put it on my feed. And thank you, Fabian. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. And I always learn something from you as well. So thank you. Same here.
You. And thank you, everybody who joined. Thank you for engaging.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
I love my girl. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
How do you end this? Bye.
All right, bye.